News in Motion.
Hey, what's up, everyone? What's up? Today is Tuesday, y'all. It is Tuesday, January the 16th, 2024. How's everyone doing? I see you, Marion Jackson, coming in here. I see you, Kim Edmondson on YouTube. I see you, Jackie on YouTube, Yvonne on YouTube, Regina on YouTube. Shout out to the YouTubers. I'm loving it. So if you don't mind putting in the chat, something that you did in the form of giving back or reflecting or whatever during this past MLK weekend. I see you, Lori Wallace, coming in here on Facebook as well. So let us know. Something that you just sat around and just reflected or thinking about, okay, this was the dream of Martin Luther King Jr. and how do I fit into that dream or whatever that looks like. Go ahead and put that in the chat. I see you, Robert Holman, coming in on Facebook as well. I see Deborah Johnson popping in here on Facebook as well. So I'm just glad to see all of you on this cold morning in Central Ohio. I believe we're at 9 degrees. I see you, Shardinia. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning, Adrian. Good morning. All right, y'all. First off, I want to share with all of you that the town hall that we had last Thursday was a success. Again, I told y'all going in, I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but it was indeed a success. That has been the most viewed News in Motion segment ever. And there's been tons of comments, inbox messages, emails, and it's gone on and on and on and on. So I think we hit something there. Adrian says 11 degrees. All right. And it's snowing heavy. Okay. I want some snow. I want there to be a blizzard in Central Ohio. Y'all can fault me. I don't care. And I just want you all to know up front, I'm praying for it. Okay. Do us a favor, y'all. Hit the share, tag a few people, tell them to come and join us. Grab your coffee, tea, mimosa, whatever, and let's get ready to get into some news in motion. Jackie said, I loved the town hall last week. We're going to have it again. We're going to have it every Thursday. But the key is you have to participate. And once it gets quiet, the segment's over. We have someone who's already willing to jump on live with me on Thursday. It's going to be good. Oh, come on, Kim. Let me have a little bit of snow. Let me have a little bit of fun. All right, y'all. Today is That's Happening Tuesday. So let me touch on a few things, and then we're going to dig deep. We got to talk about last night's caucus because officially, the general election of 2024 kicked off yesterday at right about 6:30 Central Time yesterday in Iowa. Oh, Yvonne is that. I knew we were connected. Yvonne, she says, I'm with you. The snow and blizzard bringing on. That's what I'm talking about. So, y'all, let's start here. Italy, law on immigration and international protection enters into effect today. On October the 10th, 2023, a decree law number 133, that's what they call them in Italy, concerning immigration and international protection and support for Ministry of Interior security operations entered into effect in Italy. Expulsions from public security reasons decree law number 133 provides that authorities may expel long-term European Union, that's the EU residents, permit holders from the national territory for serious reasons of public order. Y'all, what we're gonna do. What's up? Good morning, Dr. Antoinette. What we're going to do on the News in Motion Facebook page. On the News in Motion Facebook page, make sure you're following it, like it, whatever. Even if you don't tune in, I like y'all tuning in over there on YouTube for the morning segment. But if you're on Facebook, that's cool. But we're going to put in the News in Motion Facebook page the different links so that you can read this. Why am I sharing this information? Because believe me, it connects. It connects. Pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. It all connects. So we're going to be doing that. I'm going to insert a email I received on Friday. Good morning, Latrice Jones. Shout out to you, girlfriend. I feel you. I feel you. I want to share this with you all this morning. And this was an email I received on Friday. A person who was letting me know that they're going to unsubscribe from the Friday rundown, which people come and go all the time. I unsubscribe to stuff all the time. Sometimes you're in season for it, so you subscribe. And times when you're not in season for it, you unsubscribe. That's to be expected. And y'all, please, if you have an email, don't take that personally, okay? But the person emailed and they said, hey, I support you, I love you, but I'm over news, can't handle it. I'm a business owner. I briefly read the HJ Resolution 98 as a business owner. I'm overwhelmed. It's too much to deal with. I just don't want to know. Thank you for all your due diligence on the work that you do, but I have to unsubscribe because I just don't want to know. I replied back to the person, no shade to them. We're cool. We're real cool. I replied back to them. I said, I get that it can be overwhelming sometimes, whether it's news in motion, me or someone else. You have to understand the importance of following the news. You need to understand what this HJ Resolution 98 is all about, and how it connects with you as a successful business owner. I said, this is information we don't hear about. And then all of a sudden something changes and we want to know why it changed. You want to know about it. Yes, it is overwhelming, y'all. Yes, it is. But do y'all really want me to soften it? Do you really want me not to share it with you? This is the calling and my purpose in this season. And I realize that at the end of the season, there may only be one person following or one person tuning in. But I will be able to say, I have fulfilled the assignment in this season that has been given to me. I know it's overwhelming. I've tried to figure out how to balance it so that we're not coming with you with so much, but I would rather you know than not know. And I understand. I know it can be difficult. I know it can be difficult. So with that, you have to do what's best for you. But I believe it's extremely dangerous, and you all have heard me say this many times, not to listen to or read any type of news. In this season, I would not suggest that at all. You should find someone that you can listen to. I get that news is now on 24/7. I get it. But you're getting sound bites. Again, because I'm in that journalist digital news piece, I get all these alerts. It's if you think it's overwhelming, what I'm sharing with you in a short period of time, imagine what I'm hearing 24/7. And I have to silence my alerts so I can calm them down, and then I have them grouped to get certain ones. But if you read half of what I'm reading, you'll be like, just forget it. Look, hands up, white towel in, we're out of here. That would be your attitude. So I'm trying to find a balance. But please find something that you can follow. So in the United Kingdom, minimum wage is to be increased. Again, I'm sharing it because it's important, because other people can connect into this. On October the 2nd, 2023, following recommendations from the previous March from the Low Pay Commission, this is in the UK, an independent public body responsible for advising the government on national minimum wage and national living wage rates, the chancellor announced, the latest increases in the national living wage in the United Kingdom. Now, remember, I just read to you about Italy and the EU, the European Union. Y'all do know that came out of the UK, and that whole Boris Johnson, who was the former prime minister, and the vote that they did. So remember that as well. Okay. Remember that as well. So I share both of those because they're connected. Good morning, Gwendolyn, coming in from LinkedIn. Kim Edmondson says, keep doing what you are called to do. I have to. I have to. Again, y'all, if I'm the only one on here and I'm just in here doing it and y'all catch the replay later, I don't think this will ever go away until God says, okay, that's it. That's enough. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Marion Jackson says, sometimes the news is overwhelming, but I would rather know than not know. Yeah, me too. Me too. All right, y'all. Listen, there are some things we just cannot do. Dr. Antoinette, I'm sure you're getting ready to, if you're driving, just be careful. Listen. Fonnie Willis, I think you're the bomb.com. But there's some things we just cannot do. And then you go and give a speech on Sunday and you open up a can of worms all over the place. Listen, listen. Don't hire your former boo. Don't do it. Not when it's this type of case that's at stake, and all the work that you've done. The focus will be on the fact that you hired your previous great friend boo, however you want to classify him, at a $635,000 project. Come on, you can't do that. There's some things we just can't do. Okay, sis. Now you know that. They've been looking at you. You know they've been following your every mark. You know they've been threatening you and your family. Why would you go hire him? Seriously, why? Why? So, y'all, the Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis has defended her hiring the private attorney Nathan Wade as lead prosecutor in election fraud. Uh, I don't know why you did that. Suggesting that those who have questioned his ability are being unfair and possibly racist. No, no, sweetie, that's not what they're doing. I see you, Judy. That's not what they're doing. No, they've been after you. You came after their guy. They've been after you. Why would you do this? I don't get. And whoever your advisors are, you need to fire them for real. That was just a bad move. And they're not being racist. There may be some racist tendencies to what it is that they're doing, but no, they've been watching you. They've been waiting for you to do something. Okay. So she made her remarks. Okay. This was serious enough to have them both thrown off that particular case. Now you off that case. What are you doing? Seriously. Y'all, there's some things we just cannot do. We cannot do. Kim Edmonds is shaking her head like, okay, I just can't do this. Lori says you can always not listen for a few days, but go back and listen when you can handle it, especially when voting is so important. I agree with you. And Yvonne Gardner said bad move. Yeah, that was a bad move. That was a bad move. Lover, bad move. There's some things we just cannot do. All right, y'all. Just before I go into talking about this Iowa caucus, and I'm going to uncover some stuff that I'm not sure you even know about. But y'all, Miss Colorado Madison Marsh, and I'm sharing this because she became the first active duty service member to be crowned Miss America in the pageant of 102-year history. I just thought that was so interesting, and I wanted to share it. All right, let's get to the Iowa caucus. Now, again, the general election season has officially kicked off after last night's caucus. I got to go pick up what Dr. Antoinette says. She says, nope, double standards have always been and always will be there. We can't make it that easy. Girl, you're right. You're right. We cannot make it that easy. And again, she had been the focus and they've been trying to find something. And this is where they landed the moment she hired him into that position. The moment. And she tried to come back and say, well, I hired a white male and a white female. They don't care. They're worried about this Wade person. That's who they're worried about and why you've hired them at that amount, $635,000. All right, y'all. It kicked off, but who was left off? Let's start there. Who was left off in this Iowa caucus? Well, people who work evening shifts, students enrolled in out-of-state colleges, because there's no mail-in ballots of any type. Those who are disabled and have difficulty getting out of their homes or their skilled facilities. Elderly who were unable to brave the freezing temperatures on yesterday. People and families who need childcare because they don't want children there. And y'all, the numbers last night of the turnout were extremely low. They were extremely low. All right, not only that, and this is where I really want to dive into our conversation here, I was getting the updated alerts continuously. I was listening to the speeches. It kicked off right at 7 p.m. Central Time. In 36 minutes, the Associated Press called it for Donald Trump. 36 minutes. They were still voting. How were you able to cause something in 36 minutes when people were still voting and they had not even begun tallying up the votes? Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. I see you, Terry. Good morning. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. The latest update is that Trump has, of course, 56,260 votes. That's 51%. Now, that came after midnight. So we get that the 50% is important. So how were you able to call it at 8:36 Eastern time, 7:36 Central time, and people were still there voting, and they were paper ballots. So they had to fill them out, complete them, get them stamped, turn them in. Then the people who are called the administrators are tallying these up. Good morning, Hester. DeSantis has, at the latest update, 23,420, which is 21%. And Nikki Haley has 21,085 votes, and that's 19%. Yeah, girl, interesting. I'm not done. In the GOP, there are 40 delegates that were at stake last night. The winner of the nomination of a Republican Party needs 1,215 delegates. So it's going to continue. We have New Hampshire, I believe, is January 27th. I have the date. I'm guessing on top of my head. Then Nevada comes up February the 7th. I think New Hampshire is January 24th, but I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll get it. So at this point, Trump now has 20 delegates. DeSantis has 8 delegates because he came in second. And Nikki Haley has 7 delegates. She came in third. And Vivek Ramaswamy has 0 delegates. And he then dropped out last evening. Now, um, this is the person who won this caucus last evening is the same person in his speech yesterday afternoon said these words, and I'll quote: "Even if you're sick, I know it's cold, get here. Even if you're on your deathbed, get here. Even if you vote and pass away hours later, it's all worth it." That's a direct quote. He said that, and he received 51% of the votes. It's a little scary. That's words of Trump. His speech before the caucus began. Latrice Jones says the former guy said that uh, the people that are invading our country are coming from asylums that are being opened up. He said all kinds of stuff yesterday. What's up, Pastor Dr. Angie Shannon? What's up? Thank you, because you get us the real information. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying. Yes, girl. You know he said it. You know he said it. So okay, so let's keep going. I want y'all to hear this because there's a lot that's happening yesterday that brings me pause. And I'm just gonna be honest with you all. Um, Governor Ron DeSantis, again, he finished second, and Nikki Haley finished third. Y'all, the New Hampshire primary is January 23rd. Now, with all that I just shared, here's the problem. And they're getting pushback like crazy. And I've been getting all the updated alerts, and I was trying to grab as much as I could before coming on the air today. Okay, y'all, the AP called the race the earliest ever. Again, 8:36 p.m. Eastern time, which was 7:36 p.m. Central time, and they did not start having the conversation. They don't even have the paper ballots in their hand yet at 7 p.m. Central time. How you calling the race that quick? Especially with over 1,000 precincts. How are you able to do that? Okay, hold on. Let me slow down. The New York Times then, because somebody always comes out first. New York Times then came out at 8:48 p.m. and NBC News came right after the AP at 8:39 p.m. Those are Eastern time. Central time would be the 7. So I should say 7:48 p.m. and 7:39 p.m. Now, y'all, people were still voting. People were still being counted. Administrators were still out there, and this is all ran by volunteers, grabbing the paper ballots. You don't know who's in there. It just started. So how were you calling it? Yes, the shenanigans has begun. So DeSantis, I can't promise you that I'm excited to say this, but his camp was right. His campaign came out and quickly slammed the media, accusing news organizations of trying to influence the outcome. And they're saying, we want every vote counted. But even with that, in some of the reports, people who were on their phones, which they shouldn't be, but who were on their phones able to see that it has been called, said, then why vote? They left their papers and left. So we don't know how those individual people were going to vote. Could those numbers have changed any? Okay. So on X, formerly Twitter, a very prominent, established political reporter for the AP, Michael Shire, stated, and this was his quote on X: tonight, AP, CNN, etc., called the race after the caucus doors closed. Because when you go in, once you're in there, the doors close. The speeches begins. Just to give y'all an idea of what it is, if you weren't following it, the speeches begin. They file in. They sit in the gymnasium stadium, in auditoriums, in schools, wherever, colleges, wherever they have them. They hear the speech. They get the paper. They fill out who they're voting for. They put their information in, and then the administrators come around and pick those up. Now, you can leave after you've cast your ballot, or you can stay as they're tallying. And many people stay because they want to see the process. They want to hear the numbers as they're coming out. That's the setup. You're in the door. It starts at 7 Central Time. You got to hear the speeches. You know, they talk more than 3 or 4 minutes, right? Then they start tallying, then you start passing those in. You're also having conversations with people in the arena, the auditorium, the gymnasium, wherever, the office place, wherever. So there's conversations going. Okay. Um, so he says, but before all votes were cast, people could see on their phones that Trump won before voting. That's his quote. Go check him out on X. Here's my question: is he wrong? No, he's not wrong. Yeah, there's a problem here. So let me keep going. Let me keep going. As HuffPost reports, the AP said beforehand it would use a variety of sources in deciding whether to call the caucus results, with the bar for projecting a winner being when the AP will decide. There was no way that a trailing candidate could catch up with the leader. Here's their direct quote, because y'all know me by now. I'm nosy. I went to go look for their direct quote. Here's their direct quote from the AP. And this happened last week, they reported. The AP will declare a winner in the Republican caucuses based on the analysis of tabulated vote data, aided by an analysis of AP VoteCast, which will survey Iowa caucus goers in the days leading up to and through caucus day, and other available votes and demographic data. The news outlet said, again, that was last week. That's their direct quote. Well, it appears that they went on the polling numbers of 50% and not necessarily the vote itself, because people weren't giving numbers at the time that they called the race. There's a problem, people. Are we, the people, going to allow news media to be our voice in this general election? Good morning, Stephanie. We got to deal with this now. We got to deal with this now before New Hampshire, which is January 23rd. Before New Hampshire. So, of course, I formulated some questions that I want to go over real quick that we can start talking about. And I'm going to do an article post on my Medium platform. So, in the timing of calling an election by news media before all votes are counted can raise critical questions. We need to raise these critical questions now. Here are some considerations of questions to ponder. What's up, Gina? Yeah, there's our audio engineer coming in here. She says, "Good morning, Gail and everyone." Gail, thank you so much for talking through all of this. Just wow to all of this. Listen, I was laying in my bed watching it on my iPad and looking at all the alerts. I literally had to get up and go into my office and be like, what is going on? Because there's no way you could call this election at 8, I'm sorry, Central Time, 7:36 p.m. There's no way. So is this going to be what's happening? Because we cannot, as we the people, allow this to happen. So here's some questions. Media responsibility. What's up, Rosanna? How responsible is the media in projecting election outcomes before all votes are counted? If y'all heard, even in 2020, where they was like count every vote in 2016, Count every vote. Count every vote. It could end up being 49% to 49% or 50 to 49, and we need to recount some ballots. We need to see what's happening. We have to count every vote. We have to count every vote. Believe it or not, I even said the same thing in 2020 with the former guy. I was hoping they weren't there, but it's like, yeah, he's right. We can't change the rules in the middle of the election. We need to count every vote. I don't care who's up. We need to count every vote. 2016, we need to count every vote. We need to count every vote. Should the media prioritize speed in reporting over accuracy? Now, and there is this thing, and y'all have heard me talk about it here on News in Motion. Y'all know very, very well that I'm like, I won't report something until I have all the facts, even if I'm the last one bringing it to you. Because when I bring it to you, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to connect every dots for you so that you have a clear understanding what's happening. But it is true. News medias want to be the first one out. And it's like, that should not be important. Let's have accuracy. Who really won? Now, yes, he won. But come on, seriously? Is it that Nikki Haley was third place and she should have been second because she's third currently, but should she be second over Ron DeSantis? Because that's right now 21% to 19%. That's really too close to call that race. When you look in that percentages, when you're talking about an election, that's just too close. That's 2 percentage points. That's not good. That's too close. That is way too close. Even when you look at their numbers, let me go back to that from the last that were posted. You have 23,420 and 21,085. That is way too close. And it was late in the night and it's cold. Were they counting them correctly? Remember, these are paper ballots. Okay, these are paper ballots. Okay. So here's another question. Talking about influence on voting behavior. How might early election cause impact voter behavior for those who haven't cast their ballot yet? We saw that last night. People like, forget this. They put their paper down and left. They're like, why should I vote? You already called this. You already called it. And the question is, will they come back to vote in the general election, or do they feel as if, hey, it's not necessary? Does it potentially discourage people from voting if they believe the outcome is already decided? Yeah, it will. It will. I intentionally asked some of our millennials, hey, what do you think about this? And they were like, we ain't feeling that. Because if that's the point, why are we voting? So that mindset is already happening right out the gate with the Iowa caucus, January 15th, which by the way was on MLK Day. Come on now. Y'all need to fix that. That shouldn't have been on that day anyway. Then accuracy versus urgency. How should the media balance the need for timely information with the accuracy? Let's even talk about polling. Where does the polling come from and why? And does the polling sway people? And I always say it all the time. You ain't asked me. So I wasn't a part of the polling. So how could you even count that? And how did you arrive to this type of information? This is critical thinking, y'all. This is how we need to go. Yes, let's process the work. Yes, yes. I prefer accuracy over speed. Yes, count every vote. Yes. I'm just reading some of you that are in the chat. Trust is destroyed behind actions like this. Yes, 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 yes. Potential for misinformation. Here we go. I was putting these questions together like so I can come on here so we can talk about it. And I want you to be processing some of this. What risks are associated with early election calls in terms of spreading misinformation? There's that. How can the media mitigate the potential for misleading the public with premature projections? There's that. There's that. Everyone has the former guy winning the GOP nominee. Is that really accurate? Because the number of people who said in Iowa when they were doing interviews over the weekend, they were saying they changed their vote, they changed their vote, they changed their vote, they changed their vote. If they've changed their vote and they're not voting for that person, why would you go by the polling numbers and not by the actual votes that were cast? Help me understand this. In news media, we have to do better. This cannot be okay because you're now taking the place of the voter. Not okay. Not okay. We, the people, have a voice and we need to be able to use that voice. Historical precedents, because this is what's happening here. There's going to be a precedent that's setting that's saying, oh, we can just call it. Come on, seriously, we're gonna close the doors. Super Tuesday is March the 5th, everyone. Super Tuesday is March the 5th. On Super Tuesday, depending upon where you live, I live in Ohio. So we shut down. Is it 7 or 7:30? Kim, Edmondson, Adrian, one of y'all tell me. Because I'm thinking of all these different times, these different time zones, and I'm saying this off script. But whatever time we shut down in Ohio, 7, 7:30, whatever time it is, um, you're gonna tell me by 8 o'clock you're gonna call Ohio? No, because I must be looking at you sideways because I'm thinking about how many precincts are in the state of Ohio. So you cannot just shut them down. You cannot just call it right away. Not unless everyone votes early. Okay. And or let's say 90% votes early and you've already had those tabulated. Maybe then okay. But if that's not the case, you cannot close the doors at I think it's 7:30. One of y'all tell me, please. 7:30 and then 8 o'clock, give me an answer. Not happening. Not happening. I'm going to then be out here talking about what the former guy's been talking about for 3 years now. No, this ain't right. This was rigged. This is a scam. 7:30. Thank you, Yvonne. I thought it was 7:30. This can't happen. And that's what's going to happen. So that information is already out there. I want y'all to pay attention because I thought about this on yesterday evening when that was called so quickly. The former guy has been talking about that this was rigged, that the 2020 election was rigged for 3 years. So everybody hears that. Now all of a sudden, AP calls this at 7:36 p.m. Central Time. And so many people are already saying that's impossible. They're leaving a doubt. There's a dark cloud. There's a shadow. There's doubt over the voting already. So we have to kind of sit back and say, what? Like, and so we can't come behind it and say, oh, this was messed up, this was rigged, or whatever word you want to use, because now we're sounding like the former guy who's been constantly putting that out there over him and his team, his attorneys, and all these cases that are in the courts right now. We need to pay attention to what just happened. We need to pay attention to what just happened, y'all, because I'm like, whoa, a precedent has been set. So we can't even cry foul because then we will be sounding like the other team, right? Right? Regardless of where you stand. This is it's how have advancements in technology. Now, in this case, it wasn't technology last night. So are we going to cast our ballots by mail? Like, what are we doing here? Is there another way this can be done so that the news media can't be quick to should this not come out from secretaries of state's office, okay, with bipartisanship of people who are tallying these things? And I'll say this on the front end, we're a little late to be working through this should have been decided probably in 2021. Well, we were in the middle of an insurrection, but we should have been deciding this then. Now it's too late to figure this piece of the puzzle out, but it leaves out here a lot of confusion. Role of the exit polls. To what extent should media rely on exit polls in making early election calls? Are there improvements or alternative methods that could be employed in gathered election day? Yeah, shady process. There's a lot going on, y'all. There's a lot. Y'all, I missed my calling because I worked this last night, stayed up to get all this to you all. I'm like, and it gives me life. Can y'all tell how excited I am talking about it? Public trust in the media. How does the timing of election calls impact public trust in the media? And I see it. People are the email I read to you. I'm just overwhelmed by all of this. This is a lot to make one overwhelmed, but we still need to know the truth and still need to be able to connect the dots. What steps can be taken to enhance transparency? My thing is show me every vote. Show me something. You got to figure out something to give us trust. People turned away last night when they saw it on their phone. They were like, why am I completing this? You've already called it. My vote doesn't count anyway. It's not going to make a difference. They put the paper down and they walked out of the caucus. We can't have this. Legal and ethical considerations. Are there legal or ethical guidelines that the media should adhere to when projecting election results and outcomes? Should there be regulatory measures in place to ensure responsible reporting during elections? And then what about the international perspective? We're talking about the President of the United States. And then public awareness and education. How can the media contribute to public awareness about the ongoing nature of elections and the importance of every vote? Again, I'm going to write this up in an article, put it on my Medium platform sometime today. I will put the link in the News in Motion page on Facebook, y'all. But these are the questions we need to come face to face with and we need to work through. We do. New Hampshire voting is January 23rd. Nevada caucus. There's another caucus in Nevada. That's Thursday, February the 8th. I said the 7th, February the 8th, beginning at 5 p.m. and ending at 7:30 p.m. Now you can again stay for the entire meeting or cast your paper ballot and leave. And then Super Tuesday is March the 5th. Yeah, before I go to the inspirational message real quick, and I want y'all to really ponder on everything I just shared. Speaking of Iowa, Principal Dan Marburger, this is the principal who risked his life to protect students in that shooting in Iowa, passed away 10 days after the shooting. So I wanted to just share that with all of you. Let's call him a hero. It was he and three other staff members and four students who were injured, but he has since passed away. So let's pray for him and his family. Tomorrow, this is something else we need to pay very close attention to. You may hear some of this on the news today, but we're going to break it down here on News in Motion on tomorrow during our Wednesday workshop, Wednesday Wisdom. So Wednesday workshop and wisdom tomorrow. We're going to walk through Senate Bill 1780 out of Florida. And we're going to connect all the bills that are connected to in Florida to Senate Bill 1780. This is this whole thing. I'm going to give you the short side of it right now. There's a bill that they put on the floor on Friday in Florida in their legislative assembly to say if somebody, public figure, journalist, celebrities, they're even talking about celebrities, y'all, or people of influence who cause somebody in their legislation or somebody in a prominent role or anybody walking down the street racist. I'm giving y'all the short version that person can sue them. Yeah. So I'm using this tomorrow because if it's there, it's coming to a neighborhood near you. If they pass it there, y'all can believe it's setting a precedent to come to a neighborhood near you. So I'm going to be going over three bills, all connected to Senate Bill 1780 in Florida and how other states are already talking about if that passes there, we're going to adopt it in our city. So we got to pay attention to what's happening. So our inspirational message today is having mustard seed faith. Mustard seed faith. Still, I'm reading Draw the Circle, the 40-day prayer challenge by Matt Batterson. And I've been reading that prayer challenge, short devotions. Y'all should really read this. If y'all looking for something from Lent to Easter, read it. 40 days. Y'all, a mustard seed is extremely tiny. It's extremely tiny. And I went to go get some so I could like give the story. They're so tiny that they don't even look like much. It looks like maybe a little small ant or something that you can just kick off or push aside or whatever. And Draw the Circle, here's his quote. He says, faith is a lot like that. It doesn't look like much, but we never know what it can become. I was like, oh, that's good. And he says that praying is planting seeds. So as I was working through this, I have four things I want to share with you real quick when we're out of here. Number one, keep sowing. When you're planting, you're sowing. So when you're planting on good soil, when you're planting good thoughts, when you're planting good dreams, what's up, Valerie? When you're planting, just keep sowing, just keep sowing, keep sowing. Keep planting, even as you're sowing. That it doesn't end there. You have to keep planting. You have to keep putting down things down in the soil. You have to keep going. When you're putting seeds into soil, they pretty much disappear. You may even forget where they are. The grass may come out on top of it. The soil may change. All types of things can happen there because you planted a seed. Now, you also have to care for it. You have to care for it in a place that you're watering it, you're checking on it. Sometimes you're even talking to it, all types of things. That plant back there, if y'all can see that plant, not the fake one over there, but the plant underneath the news and motion sign, that all died. And I love that plant. And I'm like, you can't die on me. I reached out to some friends. They were helping me bring it back to life. So I had repotted it, and it was tall at one point. I had repotted it, and now it's starting to grow again. I check on that thing, I spray that thing, and I'm not even a planter, okay? I'm not even into them, but there was something about that plant that kept drawing me to it. So when I was putting this faith piece together, I kept thinking about that plant. I've learned not to give it too much water because it can't handle too much water. Learn your dream. Okay. Learn how much you share and how much you keep close to your vest. Because some things that you share can get out of whack. It can go too far. So you got to bring some of that back in. I know I'm talking to somebody today. So when you're talking to it, you're planting it, you know just how much it needs. How much food does it need? How much do I need to massage this? How much do I just let it germinate? Hello, somebody. How much do I just let this thing germinate? How much do I let this thing keep going? How much do I talk to it? Does it need sunlight or does it need some darkness? Hello, somebody. What I need to do with it. Then I got to keep praying about it. And then I have to keep watching God to do the miraculous. See, sometimes he only gives us space to do so much. And then we got to take our hands off of it and watch him do the miraculous in any and all situations, just like this election that we have going on. What comes to me is to be anxious for nothing. God has not given us a spirit of fear. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. Protection of our mind, transformation of the mind, and the renewing of the mind. These are things that are coming out. And they were coming to me last night. I said, I cannot sit here and be anxious about this Iowa caucus. Nope, because my God is bigger than that. God has not given us a spirit of fear. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not about to become afraid of this. It's my job to keep teaching and keep giving you this information. I broke down this Iowa caucus. Have y'all heard that anywhere else in the news source? And I'm not patting myself on the back. God has given me a purpose and a direction to share with you the news that I am sharing with you. No weapon, y'all get this, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. No weapon, nothing great or small. If it's a weapon, it can't prosper. Protection of the mind, y'all. Start speaking life to yourself, not death. Protect your mind, and then transform and renewing of the mind. All right, y'all. We got a lot that we're going to talk about tomorrow because we're going to break down that Senate Bill 1780 that's coming out of Florida. And again, I connected because I kept digging. Y'all know by now I'm nosy, and I saw two other bills that are connected to that big bill 1780, but when I kept digging, I saw other states waiting for Florida to adopt that bill so then they can adopt it in their city, their state. Yeah, we got to pay attention. This is not a time. I did a post yesterday for MLK from one of his quotes from his speech that we all talk about. And that says, this is not a time for luxury cooling. No, we can't be relaxed right now. We have to be on our post. We have to be on our post. All right, y'all. That's all I have for today. This has been News in Motion. I am your host, Gail Dudley. You know what I say, everyone. Stay well and remember to make some bold moves. We're out.
News in motion.